can start without me. I'm just going to get the cameras going. Can you guys do it without me?
Yeah.
All right, all three cameras are going. Good luck. Maybe Andrew, will you be the camera guy? You don't have to do anything except turn it if they get out of the picture. Thank you.
Scene 1748. George Washington and his brother Lawrence have joined Lord Fairfax on the grounds of Fairfax Lodge Estate.
The colonists in America are eager to explore the continent. Many want to move west and build new homes and farms. One wealthy colonist, Lord Fairfax, owns over 5 million acres of land. Much of the land remains unexplored. Fairfax's friend Lawrence Washington suggests a person to survey the land. His 16-year-old brother, George. Lawrence assures Lord Fairfax that George is disciplined, responsible, and a wizard man.
Good morning, Lord Fairfax. I'd like you to meet my brother, George.
Glad to meet you, George. Lawrence tells me you're a wonderful young man. Good at math, are you?
I like working with numbers, sir.
Lawrence also says you're about the most honest person he knows. Isn't there a story that you cut down a cherry tree and then admitted to your father that you did it?
I cannot tell a lie, sir. That story is not true.
Ha ha ha. You're honest, aren't you, son? Now I own 5 million acres of land, but it's mostly untamed wilderness. I don't even have a map of it. I have talked with your brother about this, and I trust his judgment. He tells me I should trust yours. Knowing your family, I'm inclined to believe him. I want to hire you to survey and map my land west of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
I'd be honored, sir. I won't disappoint you.
It'll be a tough job. It means harsh living, cold and wet. You won't have doctors to help you if you get sick or hurt yourself. You'll be on your own, with only your wits to guide you.
You can count on me. Lord Fairfax, I'll be fine.
Scene 1754. The cabin of French commander at Fort Duquesne on the Ohio River.
Washington's next job was to convince the French to move out of the Ohio Valley. The governor of Virginia sent Washington to Fort Duquesne with a letter demanding that the French leave the territory. England and France were both claiming the same land along the Ohio River. France had built several forts there, and the French French trappers and soldiers were moving into the area. The governor of Virginia sends his greetings.
I believe I know what your governor wants. He wants to take possession of the French lands.
The surveys clearly show that I'm standing on English ground.
Lines can be drawn anywhere on a map. My
yes,
survey
yes.
shows that this is French land.
Then, with your permission, I'd like to resurvey the land myself.
I think I know what your survey would show.
It would show the true owner of the territory, whether it favors the English or the French.
This is French territory. We are here and we will fight to keep it. Is there anything else?
You may be here, but this is not your territory. After the interview, Washington with 150 men attacked a French scouting party. 10 of the French were killed. The Virginians then built a small fort necessity on low ground. Heavy rains came and ruined their gunpowder. When the French retaliated, they easily defeated the Virginians. Washington escaped unharmed. The next year, in 1755, Washington returned to the area as part of General Braddock's army. The French and Indian War. A fight between the French and British had begun. In one battle, Washington collected 4 bullet holes in his coat, and 2 of his horses were shot from underneath him. But again, he escaped unharmed. Fighting lasted until 1760, and the French admitted defeat.
Scene, the 1770s, Mount Vermont at Washington's home in Virginia. Martha and George Washington are hosting a dinner party.
After the French were defeated, Washington went back to his family's estate, Mount Vernon, in Virginia. He married Martha Dandridge Custis, a widow with 2 small children, and settled down in a quiet but productive life as a farmer. It wasn't always quiet at Mount Vernon. George and Martha liked to invite guests to their home. The dinner parties were filled with idle talk. Life in the colonies hadn't calmed down after the French and Indian War. The English expected the colonists to help pay for the war. By the 1770s, the colonists were angered by the taxes England had slapped on them. Many people expected war, and they wanted George Washington to lead the fight.
The king taxes lead, glass, paper, paint, and tea. We say fine. We won't buy those products from England. The English merchants scream and shout, and the king says, well, how about we just tax the tea a little?
Don't drink it, I say. I like coffee better anyway.
That's not the point. How can they expect us to pay taxes when we can't even elect anyone to the British Parliament?
That's right, there's no one to stand up for us.
Mark my words, we're heading for a fight. We need someone to lead it.
We don't need another war. I agree these actions by the British are an outrage, but we mustn't go to war unless every other plan has failed.
George and I have promised support a boycott of British goods. We won't allow any tax products into this house, but I don't think that's enough. The British are treating us badly. We do need someone to set them straight.
They won't stop taxing us. They won't let us into the Parliament. What should we do? Just keep telling King George that he's not being very nice to us?
If we've tried all the peaceful means, then and only then should we even consider war.
Scene 1777, Washington's quarters in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. It is a bitter, cold December evening. Washington is looking over maps and stamping his feet to keep warm.
The colonists did try every plan, and the British wouldn't listen. Finally, the colonists formed a special group, the Continental Congress, to discuss what to do. Each colony sent representatives to Philadelphia in 1774. The Continental Congress made Washington commander of the military of all the colonies. On July 4th, 1776, the Congress signed the Declaration of Independence, made it clear that America was no longer part of Britain. The Revolutionary War had begun. With little money and supplies, Washington made a ragtag group of men into an army. His men are often cold, wet, and sick, but they had a great respect for General Washington. In the bitter of 1777, Washington and his troops camped in Valley Forge near Philadelphia. He had his men build cabins so they could stay as warm and as safe as possible.
This note just came for you, sir. It's from the Pennsylvania government.
Thank you, soldier. They think we're spending too much money? They think it would be cheaper if the men would stay out in the field and not in cabins. This is ridiculous. And they want us to use fewer supplies? Who do they think they are? They're sitting snugly in their homes. These men are fighting for their freedom. Nonsense! My men deserve more blankets and more medicine, not less. Send the letter back to these idiots. Tell them we want more blankets, more medicine, more shoes, more hats, and less complaining. Got that?
Yes, General, I'll deliver it right away.
Well, what did he say?
The general told them to send more supplies.
I hope for his sake we win the war. He sure knows how we're all suffering. Scene 1797, New York City, the nation's capital. Washington is on stage in front of a podium, preparing to give his last speech as a president of the United States.
After 8 years of fighting, Washington led his troops to victory. The colonies were no longer colonies, but they weren't yet a nation either. America needed a stronger government to hold the country together. The Constitution was adopted, and the United States of America was born. Washington became the first president of the United States in the spring of 1789. he left his home for New York City, then the capital, to take the oath of office. Washington was a successful president as he was general. He organized the first cabinet, a group of leaders to help him run the country. As president, he kept the country together during its difficult years. In 1796, before the end of his second term, Washington wrote his farewell address, one of the most important documents in American history. He asked Americans to stick together and accept the challenges of the new form of government. Friends and fellow citizens, the time for you to choose a new president is near. I am retiring for good from the public life. But before I go, I want you to leave with some thoughts I have as you show the president. The name American, which belongs to you, must always show the justice, pride, and patriotism more than any other. You're all different, but not so different that you cannot work out your problems. You have fought for a common cause. As triumph together, the independence and liberty you possess, and the work of all of you. Your common danger is suffering success.
Scene. Done.
Nice.